Hey, it's Free Falcon again, and today we're going to be discussing shop types and if today in 2024 is it worth actually starting to play. Alright, and the first thing we're going to look at is the if the paywall is something that you're going to be willing to overcome. So while most of the base game is pretty much free to play, there are going to be some pretty limiting factors that you will run into if you're not willing to spend some money. And the first one of these are the workers. So each one of these workers that you'll get as you come through. So you'll start with Wallace. He's a blacksmith. He'll unlock the sword tier. So this is what you start the game with. At level 2, you'll get Julia, who's the tailor, and she'll unlock leather gloves, shirt, leather boots. At 3, you'll get Alan, who's the carpenter. He does the cudgel and carved branch, which is basically your staff line there. And then you'll see in level 5 you get Maribel, level 12 Grimar, level 20 Katrina, 25 you get Freya, at level 30 Theodore, and then you have these two here, which are your own pay-only ones here. So Roxanne, you're going to be spending $30 to get crossbows and pellet guns. So to unlock your crossbow and your gun routes, you're going to have to pay $30 in order to unlock your batons and your rune stones, which is very, very crucial. So without rune stones, you can't make runes without having to buy them. And it just really makes enchanting and all of that almost impossible. So you can probably get away without buying Roxanne, but your game's going to be severely impacted by not getting Evelyn. The next section of the paywall is going to be the Rural Merchant, which is the monthly subscription. It costs $10. By subscribing, the player can repair items for gold, which really is almost essential for this game. Especially if you're starting off and you're going to be playing a lot, you're going to be running into, whenever you do quests, that you are going to be having to use these repair kits. So I was able to stockpile a lot, but it's because I subscribe. So if I didn't have that, I'd be burning through that. So every time that you complete a quest, there's a chance that your items on your characters will break. So if you select each one, it'll say what the break chance is, right? So there's a 5% chance that this is going to break. And so, especially early on for like low level stuff, it's not too bad to be able to spend gold in order to repair this. But without that, the Rural Merchant, it makes it to where these are almost required. So without them, you will not be able to repair your items, and so you'll end up having to trash and rebuild out your characters a lot, which will get very, very expensive over time. So while it's not maybe 100% necessary to do so, it's going to be almost game breaking to do that. Another aspect that you get with it is you get an additional amount of items whenever you do a quest. So, and then also during the Lost City of Gold, you get an additional 10% on the gem packs and a 20% on the Fortune Zone prizes. So when you're going in here to the Fortune Zone, when you go to the redeem, you see that we get a 20% discount, which adds up to be quite a bit. So as you can see, 100 of these, it can take quite a few rolls sometimes to even get 100. So the number one thing is if you're looking at getting into this game, you're 100% going to need to get the Royal Merchant if you want to be competitive with it. So now that we discussed some of the downfalls here, let's go over the positives. So one of the positives to starting into the game now rather than earlier is that there's just so much for you to be able to do. The events are really fleshed out. So right now we have the King's Caprice, which we actually just finished. So, you go through and you can craft up these different items. You get to stockpile up these points here, and then you can spend them to unlock cosmetics or even the new recipes. So like here you can, if I had 350 of these, I could unlock this premium brand jam. 140 I could get the chocolate box. So I'm 30 short, so I'm not going to be able to do that, but I typically able to buy a few each round. So the caprices are going to be a good way for you to get typically you only could have to spend money on. Also another way is these other shorter events. You'll get access to exclusive crafting items. So you can see I spent the gems and I got this. So not only do you get other things, but there are exclusive items here. Now these will cycle through into the Caprice eventually, but this is the way that you can get it for free. And then you see here at the end, we'll get 2 blueprints right here when we finish these quest lines here. So this will give us three different ones. So I believe that there's just over 3,000 items in the game now. So the amount of crafting that you can do is pretty substantial. So you can see that for each of these quests here, there's the 13 different tiers that we're at, but there's also quite a few that you're going to be unlocking that will just give you just so much to craft. I've been playing for years, and I don't have all of the blueprints, and I don't have them all mastered. And so they've added in this collection book that also helps with that as well. So as you collect items, you can see here that I have some of these mastered. So for each item, and then each different level that you can have the pieces at. So I don't have a legendary here, right? So I'm unable to turn that in. But once I do, it'll be completed. I'll get points for turning that in. And then those points get piled up. And then you get rewards just like most everything else. So early on, it's stuff like gems and coins and research. But then you get the fusion bonuses, which are a really big deal. Which is also another one of those paywalls. You won't be able to fuse unless you buy the specific worker that allows you to do that. So I believe it is Luna here, or also I think that it's either the restaurant or the dessert person is also another one of the pay ones. So there are quite a few of the workers here, but it just gives you so much in order to build and expand, and also getting in with guilds and getting to know all these people. Like I've started to become friends with these people in real life, so the social impact is it's pretty nice. People, we have a Discord channel, people get in and they chat back and forth, so you get to hear about everyone's personal lives, and you get to know them on a personal level, which makes gaming a lot more fun to me. There's a whole social aspect. So this is one of my all-time favorite games. I've played this for multiple years. I've spent quite a bit of time and quite a bit of money in on this game. And there are ways to get around spending so much more money, but there's a few things that are going to be required. So if you're not okay with getting the subscription, I would say that this isn't a good game to look at playing long term. And also, if you're not going to buy into the workers, it's also not going to be a good game. So if you're looking for a completely free game to play indefinitely, I would say shy away from this game. If you're willing to invest a little bit of money into a great game, this is by far one of the most fun games I've ever played. And I've played literally thousands of games over the years.